Tapped in. Keep the credit, I'ma get it on the back end. Kick rocks, cutting corners, trying to cash in. We still outside, high as gas is. Watch them force you to EV. Tried to cut me out, but you need.
All right, you guys, welcome to Arizona Prep Stars. And on this channel, we're going to talk about Arizona football. We're going to big up Arizona football players that are making a name for themselves. We're going to talk about parenting in football. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, guys. And the first video that I wanted to do, I wanted to talk about the parent situation in high school football in Arizona. You know, different states have different rules. And sometimes as parents, you don't always agree with all the rules and regulations of what the state is doing and what the state is saying, but you have to comply by them. Now, there's rules and regulations no matter what you do in life, period. But at the same time, you know, you want to make sure that if you have a student athlete and you have a kid that desires to play college sports, or they desire to go to the next level, whatever you want to say, you want to make sure that your kid is put in the right situation. You know, sometimes, you know, as parents, you know, we allow our kids to say, hey, I want to go to this school because my friends go here. But if you have a kid that's very good in a sport that they play, maybe it might be basketball, maybe it might be football, maybe it might be baseball, maybe it might be track and field, whatever it is, you know, that you are, your kid is interested in playing, you want to make sure that you put them in the best possible situation. Now, here in Arizona, it's a little different, you know, from probably other states, you know, especially with the transferring rule. I know that's like the biggest thing in probably all states, being able to transfer. And the reason why I say that is because basically, you know, in Arizona, you have to sit out 5 games. And that's big, man, especially for football, because football, you only play 10 games. And you're sitting out half a season, not being able to play, not being able to get any film. If you so desire to go to college to play sports, you need film. And the biggest thing that I understand is about film and things of that nature is that kids need it. You know, when college coaches are coming in to recruit kids and they're coming to various programs, you know, in that state to look at kids' talent and to recruit them to their school or offer them a college scholarship, it's just some things as parents we need to know. It's like having a dummy handbook and being able to recognize some of the things that you may not know as a parent. And this video is kind of dedicated to parents to ensure us to making some of the right decisions when it comes to our kids, when it comes to them playing sports or playing football, whatever it is now. Per se, my kid plays sports and they play football. And the biggest thing in Arizona, in the state of Arizona, is the reason why I think that the rule is for you not to transfer, because they don't want a lot of the kids going to football programs and everybody going to the same program and just going to that school. They kind of want to spread it out. I kind of understand that. But at the same time, I think it hurts the kids as well, because if you got the kids sitting out 5, you got a healthy kid sitting out 5 games out of the whole entire season, which is half a season for football because you only play 10 games. Basketball, you may play 20 plus something games. So sitting out 5 games probably wouldn't hurt you. But in football in Arizona, in the state of Arizona, that will hurt you because you need to get film, especially if you desire to play college football. You have to have film, and you also have to have good grades too as well. But I kind of want to give you guys like a 10 rule thing that, you as parents need to be really, really checking into. The number one thing that I want to give you is football program and repetition. Sorry about that. Research the school's football team, performance, coaching staff, and facilities. Number 2, the level of competition. Consider the school's division, conference, and state championship history. Now, when you go to the level of competition, I always say, whether a big school or small school, your talent will make way for you. So if you're a good player, they'll find you in a small school and they'll find you at a big school. It doesn't matter. As long as you are a good player, your talent will make room for you. And you should have that. You should have the options to go to a big or a small school. Sometimes, guys desire to go to a big school, and they might go to that school and never get an opportunity to play. So they end up going to maybe a smaller school where they're able to play, and not only play, but play at a high and efficient level. So those are some things to consider too as a parent. Number 3, coaching experience. Look into the head coach's background, coaching style, and player development. How is this coach going to develop your kid, especially at what position that your kid may be playing? You may have a quarterback. You may have a wide receiver. You may have a son that is a running back. You may have a son that is on the O-line or D-line, or maybe a defensive back, period, safety or corner. Being able to check and seeing the development on how they develop players, and do a lot of players from that school go to the next level. Team culture, number 4, evaluate the team's values and support system. That's definitely something that you want to do. Always be able as a parent to go into the school, visit the school, evaluate the team's values and support system. It's very, very important as a parent that you do that. Number 5, academics. You have to make sure that the academics of the school is a good school for your kid to be able to be a great student athlete. You have to make sure that your kid is definitely being educated, as well as them attacking their grades. Because if you want to go to some of the best colleges in the land, you have to have good grades. And that's one thing as a parent you have to be on your kids about, making sure that they're studying, making sure they're doing the things that they need to do to be on that football field, whether they're a starter or they don't start. You got to make sure that they have good grades. Number 6, location and size. Consider the school's location, size, and setting, whether it be urban, suburban, or rural. You need to know this as a parent. Number 7, resources and facilities. Access the quality of the football field. Looking at their football field, what kind of condition is the football field in? Training and facilities. Getting the opportunity to look at the weight room and things of that nature. When you're visiting the school, looking at the equipment. Is the equipment real old, and if it is older, is it kept? What's the quality of everything that the kids are going to be using and having access to at school? Is this stuff in tip top shape? Those are things that you need to know as a parent. Number 8, college recruitment. If your kid desires to play football at the next level and go to college to play football or basketball or track and field, whatever it may be, if you're inspired to play college football, consider the school's track record of placing players in college programs. So that's a big thing too as well. Sometimes you may go to a smaller school where they only get like 2 or 3 kids that may get an offer to go to play at a Division I, or maybe just play college football, period. And then there's programs where, your kid may go to a bigger high school, a 6A high school, and all of the big colleges are there. But I still say when it comes to college recruitment, you have to play that by ear, and you always want to go where you want it and what's the best fit for you. So it's the same thing with high school. When you're picking a high school, you have to be able to go where it's going to be the best fit for your kid. If your kid is a wide receiver, they don't need to be playing in a wing T offense because, or a program that runs the football a lot. You want to go to a program that has a balance and they run the ball as well as pass the ball. Because if you're a receiver, you're going to be blocking as well. You can't just think that the ball is going to be coming your way every single time. So you got to recognize as a receiver that you got to block and things of that nature. And you're also counted on to catch the football. And these are some of the things as parents, man, we need to know. And you need to know this, especially living in the state of Arizona. You need to know these things. because it's vital on where your kid goes to school, because sometimes, your kid goes to a school because all of their friends are there. Sometimes they go to a school because they think that this is a school that's going to propel them to the next level. And sometimes, in some cases, that could be true. And then sometimes you can go to a school where it's not a good fit for you. Maybe, you have a kid that's a quiet kid and he doesn't have that temperament that another kid that may be from an urban area is a little bit more rowdier or a little bit more feistier than your kid. Your kid has a quiet demeanor, but they can play football still. There's kids that play football that are not really rah-rah kids, but they're still good. And that's okay, because all of us are unique and we all have our different gifts and abilities. Some guys lead vocally and some guys lead by their play on the field. So either or, you can find leadership in either one. Number 9, eligibility and regulations. Familiarize yourself with the state and the athletic association rules and eligibility requirements. So as a parent, you need to find all of this information. So you may have to open up, if you live in the state of Arizona, you're going to have to be familiar with Arizona Interscholastic Association. You're going to have to familiarize yourself with the AIA here, because definitely, man, the biggest thing for me as a parent is, or for you as a parent as well, is to be able to put your kid in the right situation that fits for your kid. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that your kid is being taught. You want to make sure that your kid is a great student athlete. And not only that, you want to make sure that your kid also is developing on the football field. Now, some kids, we understand that when you play the game of football, it's always going to be the best 22 kids out on the field. Now, sometimes your kid may not be the best 22 kids on the team, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that your kid can't work hard, get better, and eventually get more reps to be a starter, or maybe to be in a rotation to get out on the football field. Everybody wants their kids to be the best at whatever they do. And there's competition. In football, there's competition. You're going to have to compete. At all levels of football, you have to compete against someone for either the starter job or just rotation minutes and getting out on the football field. But these are things that you have to think of as a parent. And you have to really, really do your homework when it comes to selecting a high school for your kid to be able to be involved in and for your kid to be able to play football at. You have to do the homework, because you can end up picking the wrong team. And then if you try to transfer out because that team runs the football all the time and your kid is a wide receiver and they can't catch the football, then, you got to think about having to sit out 5 games. And nowadays, 5 games is a lot. That's half a season for a kid that plays football. So you got to make sure before you get into the 9th grade, what you need to be going around to these schools, getting familiar with the schools, going to the football games on Friday, and really looking at the environment of the school. That's what you really got to do. You have to do your homework. Even if you have to Google the coaches and find out what type of coach you have on that team and what type of coaches are on that team, you have to do the homework as the parent. It's our job as parents to educate ourselves on these schools, because sometimes these schools are not going to tell you what type of offense they're running, or they're not going to tell you that they like to pass all the time if your son is a running back. So it's just a lot, man, that comes with the pros and cons of playing football. But here in Arizona, you have to sit out. If you're transferring, you have to sit out 5 games. And I'm sure that I'm not the only parent that kid plays football here that does not like the rule of having to sit out 5 games. I think that maybe sitting out 2 games is cool, but sitting out half a season, I just don't really dig that. sitting out half a season and missing a lot of tape, especially if you're a junior or you're a senior or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your kid is a freshman and they're getting the opportunity to play on varsity. Maybe your kid is a sophomore and they're getting the opportunity to play on varsity. And maybe they can afford to miss the 5 games, or maybe not. Because everywhere you go, it's going to be competition. Your kid is going to have to compete against other kids. And like I said before, it's going to be the best 22. And what do I mean by that? It's going to be the best 22 kids, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. And they're going to be the ones that's on the field getting majority of the time. It just is what it is. Everybody is not going to be able to get out on the field. You got 70-something kids that want to play football. You go around to all these different schools and you see like 70 or 60 kids on the roster. The best 22, and then probably a little bit more of these guys, they'll be in the rotation. Maybe they might be on kickoff. Maybe they may be off on kickoff return. Maybe they're on the punt team or something of that nature, or the field goal team, or whatever it may be. But, you know, you have to make sure that that your kid is at a school that is going to respect the position that they're playing in, especially if your kid is a pretty good athlete. You want to make sure that they're getting the best coaches that's going to help them. And then also your job as a parent is to be able to go out and find a trainer that will help your kid in the off season to develop and get better. That's what you want. So these are some of the things that I want to be able to stress to the parents. It's our job to be able to go out there and put our kids in the right situation. Whether you go to a small school or a big school, you got to make sure that it's the right offense, it's the right defense. Maybe your son has been playing safety all his life, and then they decide to move him at corner. Maybe he's a corner, and they decide to move him at safety. These type of things happen all the time. But you want to go where your kid is going to be able to play, and not only play, that your kid is going to be able to be developed and be able to go to the next level if they desire to do so. Not all kids on the football team desire to go to the next level. That's not what everybody is trying to do. Some kids are on the team because, hey, man, you know, you can get the girls or whatever it may be, or just hanging around and just liking to be around the football team. But they may not go to the next level. And then there's some kids on the team, that's all they do is eat, sleep, football. That's the only thing that they do. When they get up in the morning, they're watching football. When they lay down at night, they're watching football. Your kid might be laying with a football in his hand when he's going to sleep at night. He got the football in his hand. So you got to be able to put your kid in the right situation, because at the end of the day, if you do not do this, it can cost you dearly in Arizona. You're going to have to sit out 5 games. Do I think it's fair? No, I don't. I think it should be no more than 2 games. 5 games is half a season. And you're telling us that our kids have to miss 5 games out of the season because of the rules. The rules need to be changed, man. Some rules just need to be changed, especially if a kid desires to go to the next level. I know the biggest thing is with AIA, it's about education and stuff like that. And I understand that. That is key. Education is number 1. But at the same time, you want to be able to make sure that your kid is on the type of offense that's going to cater to the positions. If it's a run school, you want to make sure that they run the football as well. If your kid is a running back, you know, you don't want to be just at a school that just pass all the time and never run the football. So it's vital as parents that you educate yourselves on what type of high school in Arizona you're going to send your kid to, because it can be a good it can be good, or it can be bad. The good, the bad, the ugly. That's what it could be if you decide to take your kid to a school and you make the wrong decision, and then your kid is on the sidelines and never getting the opportunity to play. Maybe your kid doesn't know the playbook. Maybe that's the reason why the kid is not out on the field. Maybe they don't understand the concepts of what they're supposed to be doing on defense. Maybe that's the reason why your kid is not getting the opportunity to play. Because I know a lot of parents want to know why their kid is not playing or not out on the field. All of us want our kid to be out there. But the kids that have studied and they know the playbook and they know what they're supposed to be doing, those are the kids that's going to be out on the field. It just is what it is. This is football 101. If your kids know the plays, they're going to be out there. If they don't know the plays, the coach is going to take them off. So you have to understand that as a parent, that football is not an easy sport. And there's a lot of competition. And sometimes your kid may not just be the top of the line talent when it comes to the game of football. And that's okay. That's not saying that your kid cannot be successful still, but it's just saying that it may be someone just a little bit more athletic or somebody that spends a little bit more time in the playbook than your kid has, and they're getting the opportunity. So I just wanted to be able to educate people in this video and just talk about, you know what I'm saying, how I feel about the rules in Arizona. You know, will they change the rules? We don't know that. But I think that it should be dropped down to at least 2 games that the kid has to sit out. Not 5 games. It's just way too many games to be sitting out. And you have a healthy kid that's been ready to play football for a long time. So imagine this. Your kid is at a school. They run the football all the time. Your kid is a wide receiver. They never get a chance to be thrown a ball. All they're doing is blocking. And then you're trying to transfer to another school that may have an offense that will cater to the position that your kid plays. And you're like, yes, this is a great opportunity. And you try to transfer to that school, you have to sit out 5 games. You have to sit out a whole 5 games because of the rules. Not everybody is trying to double stack and be on one team. Not everybody is trying to go to the best 6A programs, Liberty, Chandler, IE, Hamilton, all these big schools. Not everybody is trying to do that. There's a lot of football being played in the state of Arizona, and there's a lot of schools that basically that you can go to, and that your talent still can be seen, and that you can still go to the next level and play college football if you have the desire to do so. But at the end of the day, man, it's all about the parents educating themselves, and we hope that the AIA, changed the rules on transferring in Arizona. I really hope this for the parents, because sitting out 5 games is quite a bit of games in a short football season, especially if your team doesn't make it to the playoffs. If your team doesn't make it to the playoffs, then your season is going to be over really, really early and really, really fast. So I would love to see this happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but if you're a parent, you have to make the right decision, not just sending your kid to a school just because they got friends there, but sending your kid to the best football program that's going to help develop your kid to being the player ultimately that they need to be, and that they can be out on the football field. So I hope that things change for a lot of parents. I hope that this video really gives you guys education on what you need to do in the future, especially if your kid is in the 8th grade. In 7th grade, you need to start going to the varsity football games. You need to start seeing what type of schools these schools are. Are they running the football all the time? Are they passing the football all the time? What position does my kid play, and how can my kid go out there and be effective on the field if he gets his opportunity? Maybe he doesn't get an opportunity as a freshman. Maybe he doesn't get the opportunity as a sophomore. Maybe it's his junior and senior year that he finally gets his opportunity to get out on the field. So once your kid gets out on the field, you want to make the best of it. So it is what it is. It's hard. It's tough. It's football. But at the end of the day, the transform rules out here in Arizona is not the greatest rules in the world. And I'm sure that there's other states that probably have the same thing that you have to comply with or maybe even close to it. But I think that it needs to be changed to 2 games instead of sitting out, or maybe not just 2 games. Maybe it just should just be no games, period. I don't know. That's for AIA to really discuss among themselves. And we as parents need to kind of, really come together on this, because you want to see kids be able to play football, not to just go to a team to stack on that team, but to go to a team that's going to help develop them into being put in the right situation and the right fit. Like I said, if your kid is in a wing T offense and they're a receiver and that school is running the football all the time, you may not get that opportunity for your boy to catch a lot of balls. You may not get that. So you want to go to a school that has a balanced attack. They run the football and they pass the football as well. So you're getting the best of both worlds. That's what you want as a parent, to be able to get the best of both worlds. So this video was created, guys, out of things that I see and the frustration that you can have as a parent. I know I'm not the only one that probably feels this way. I know there's a lot of parents out there that's probably been thinking this, that the rules in Arizona having to sit out 5 games is a bit much. And I think that it is. And I think that AIA needs to really do their homework and really think about what they're doing to these kids when it comes to not being able to play out on the football field right away. I don't think all the kids are trying to go to a team and stack on that team, because I think that that's the reason why the rules are really made, is because they don't want everybody going to a Chandler. They don't want everybody going to a Basher. They don't want everybody going to Liberty, or things of that nature. And I understand that, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to go where it's the best fit for your kid. The same thing when it comes to picking a college. It's the same exact thing. When you pick a college, you want to go where you're going to get the opportunity, and you want to go where it's the best fit for you. So it can be 1,000 colleges recruiting you, but at the same time, you have to go to where it's the best fit, and that you'll be able to showcase your abilities out on the football field. So, guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you really do your homework as a parent, and really consider everything before you pick a high school to put your kid in. Make sure it's the best fit, not just being there because there's friends there, not just being there because the team runs the ball all the time, or the team passes the ball all the time. You want to be at a school where it has balance, especially if your kid is a receiver. If your kid runs the ball, you want to be able to run the ball as well, and you want to be in that type of offense. And I think that all teams, all high schools, need to be able to register what type of defense they play and what type of offense they play, so the kids will understand what type of system they're going into, that nothing is hidden from them, so they'll know, like, okay, when I'm going in, okay, this team plays a 4-3. This team plays a 3-4. This team plays a cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. This team runs a running gun, a West Coast offense, a pro-style offense. That's what you need to know as a parent. What type of team or what type of offense does the team run? The wing T, how's that going to benefit my kid if my kid is a receiver? How can that help him when you're running the ball majority of the time? So you really have to really do your homework, and you really have to understand the game of football as a parent. And you really got to sit down with your kid and really talk to your kid. So more so than going to a school just because the school has won a lot of championships is a good thing. That's a great thing. But at the end of the day, you want to go where it's going to be the best fit for your kid. If that school is a run school, then basically if you're running back, you would love to go to that school because you're going to get the opportunity to run the football. But if that school runs all the time and your kid is a receiver and he wants to catch the football because he wants to be a wide receiver, then that may not be the best fit for him. Playing in a wing T offense or playing in an offense that dominantly runs the football all the time is not going to be a great fit for him. And then if the team is passing the ball all the time and your kid is a running back, then you don't want to be in a team that's passing the ball all the time and your kid doesn't get the opportunity to run the ball. Maybe he gets 5 or 6 touches in a game. That's not going to help your kid. So as parents, you have to do the homework. You have to really go around to the schools, go to the high schools and learn the high schools in the area, whether it's a big school, whether it's a school that wins a lot of championships, whether it's a school that is a small school. You want to make sure that your kid is going to a school that's going to develop their talent and eventually get out on the football field. Some kids, they're able to be on varsity and play as freshmen. Some kids are sophomores and they're playing on varsity. That doesn't happen for every kid. That happens for some kids. But then there's a point too where that you really got to do your homework and make sure it is the best possible fit for your kid. If your kid plays in a secondary, you want to make sure that your kid is being put in a position where he'll be successful, whether he's a corner or a safety, or even if they're a linebacker. You want to make sure that they're playing the right type of defense and the right fit for your kid. All right, guys, I'll be back to you soon with another video. Peace.